My dad walked out when I was 14. No child support, no calls. I put myself through college, paid every bill alone. Then out of nowhere, he called, said he had cancer. "You're all I have left," he said. I drove 6 hours to the hospital. When I got there, he handed me a binder of medical bills. "Since you're successful now." I left the binder on the chair. Walked out. 3 months later, he texted me, "You're just like your mother." I replied, "Thank you." When I was 14, my dad left. No warning, no fight, no goodbye. Just walked out the front door and never came back. We were living in Dayton, Ohio. Our house was nothing special, 1 story, 2 bedrooms, old linoleum floors that never quite looked clean no matter how hard Mom scrubbed. That day, he came home from work like normal. I remember it was raining. He walked past me while I was sitting on the couch doing math homework. He had his gym bag over his shoulder, keys in hand. I looked up and said, "Hey, where you going?" He didn't even answer, just kept walking. The front door shut behind him, and that was it. That was the last time I saw him for years. At first, I thought he'd be back the next day, or the day after that. Maybe he needed space. Maybe he and Mom were fighting again. I figured grown-ups did this kind of thing. But a week passed, then 2, and nothing. I asked Mom where he went. She wouldn't tell me. She just said he's not coming back, like it was a fact and not something that would completely destroy the both of us. He never sent money. Never called. Never sent a card. Not for my birthday, not for Christmas, not even when I graduated high school. Nothing. We lost the house a couple years later. Couldn't keep up with the mortgage. I was 16 when we moved into a 2-bedroom apartment above a laundromat. Mom took 2 jobs, waitressing during the day, cleaning at night. I started working too. Bussing tables after school at the same diner she worked at. We shared a car that stalled every time you let go of the gas too fast. I remember sitting in class once, pretending to care about American history while worrying if we'd have enough money for heat that month. One of the kids made a joke about deadbeat dads. I wanted to scream. Mine wasn't dead. He was just gone. I didn't go to prom. Didn't care about football games or school dances. I was just trying to survive. Somehow I got into Ohio State. Got a mix of scholarships and student loans. Moved to Columbus and lived off microwavable mac and cheese, coffee, and side gigs. I worked the front desk at the campus library and graded papers for a professor who treated me like a robot. I didn't party. I didn't date. I was too damn tired. But I made it. I graduated with a degree in business. Got hired at a decent firm. Moved into my own place. Nothing fancy, but it had working heat and a washer/dryer. For the first time, I didn't have to check my bank account before buying toothpaste. And then he called. It was a random Tuesday night. I had just finished eating dinner. Phone rang. Unknown number. I was gonna let it go to voicemail, but something, curiosity maybe, made me answer. "Hello." There was a pause. "It's your dad," a man's voice said. I didn't speak. "I'm at St. Joseph's Hospital in Cincinnati. They found cancer. Stage 4. It's in my lungs. Maybe liver. I don't know. They said it's bad." Still, I didn't say a word. I don't have anyone else. You're all I have left. I hung up without saying anything. But I didn't sleep that night. Couldn't stop thinking. Couldn't stop wondering why the hell he thought I'd care. The next morning, I called off work, got in my car, and drove 6 hours south. I don't know why I did it. Maybe some part of me wanted to look him in the eye and ask him why he left. Maybe I wanted to give him a chance to explain, to apologize. Or maybe I just needed to see the wreck he'd become. He was in room 304. I walked in and there he was. Thinner. Older. Hair gone. Pale like a sheet. "You came," he said, smiling weakly. "You look like me." I didn't smile back. Didn't sit. He reached over to the side table and grabbed a binder thick, packed with papers. "What's that?" I asked. "Medical bills," he said. "Since you're doing well now, maybe you can help out." I wouldn't ask if I had anyone else. I didn't say a word. I took the binder from his hand, walked over to the chair, and set it down gently. Then I turned around and walked out of the room. I didn't run. I didn't cry. I just left. Just like he did years ago. 3 months went by. No calls, no texts. I figured that was it. Then one night, my phone buzzed. A text. From him. "You're just like your mother." I stared at the screen. I typed back 2 words. "Thank you." After I sent that text. "Thank you." I figured that was the last time I'd hear from him. I was wrong. About a month later, I got a call at work. I don't usually answer my cell while I'm at the office, but it was from a 937 number. Dayton. I thought maybe it was Mom. She still lived out there. So I stepped into the hallway and picked up. Is this Adam Miller? Yes, I said. This is Sharon from St. Joseph's Hospital. I'm calling about your father, Raymond Miller. He listed you as his emergency contact. I didn't say anything, just waited. He was admitted again last night. Complications. His condition is critical. We thought you should know. I didn't say goodbye. I just hung up. That night I called Mom. I hadn't talked to her in a few weeks. She sounded tired. He listed me as an emergency contact, I said. She paused. Of course he did. He's dying, I said. She let out a long breath. I know. What do you mean, you know? I've known for months. He called me before he called you. Told me he was sick. Said he was sorry. Asked me to come see him. You didn't tell me. It wasn't my story to tell. I sat there stunned. She wasn't even mad. Just resigned. I didn't go, she added. Not then. Not ever. Why not? She was quiet for a second. Then she said, because I already said goodbye to that man a long time ago. A week later, I got another call. Voicemail this time. It was short. He's gone. That was it. I didn't cry. Didn't feel relief. Didn't feel anything at all. But then a letter showed up at my apartment. Plain envelope. No return address. Postmarked from Cincinnati. Inside was a copy of his will. The man had nothing. No house. No car. Just debt. But he left me one thing. His ashes. A sticky note was taped to the urn. You're my only son. Do the right thing. I almost laughed. I put the urn in the back of my closet. A few days later, something else came. A woman knocked on my door. She was in her early 30s. Blonde. Nervous. Holding a small toddler on her hip. Are you Adam? She asked. Yeah. I'm Rachel. I don't know how to say this. I think we're related. I stared at her. She looked down embarrassed. Raymond was my dad too. He left my mom when I was 5. I never knew him, but he reached out a few months ago. Told me he was sick. Said he had a son. Gave me your name. I was frozen. I didn't even know what to say. She looked up at me. He told me I wasn't the only one. Said he made a lot of mistakes. I leaned against the doorframe. How many are there? She swallowed. I know of 3, including me. Maybe more. I let Rachel inside. We sat at my kitchen table while her daughter played with a spoon on the floor. I offered coffee. She asked for water. Her hands were shaking the whole time. She told me everything. Raymond, our father, had apparently lived a double, maybe triple life. After he left me and Mom, he'd moved around the Midwest. Indiana, Kentucky, back to parts of Ohio. Rachel's mom lived in Lexington. She said she grew up thinking her stepdad was her real father, until last year when her mom got drunk on her birthday and spilled the truth. Rachel had done a DNA test. Came back linked to Raymond. She found him on Facebook of all places, an old account with one blurry profile picture and no posts since 2016. She messaged him. He replied. He wasn't warm, she said. But he wasn't cruel either. He was just empty. Like he knew he'd ruined too much to fix anything, but he still wanted to be remembered. She said he told her he was proud of me. That I'd made it. That maybe I'd forgive him someday. I laughed when she said that. Not because it was funny, but because it was pathetic. The man who left a binder of bills instead of an apology thought I'd forgive him just because I wore a suit to work and paid my rent on time. Then she said something else. He told me he didn't leave you because of your mom. He left because of something that happened at work. What do you mean? I asked. She pulled out her phone, opened an email and slid it across the table. It was a scanned letter. Looked like it came from an attorney's office in Dayton. He said he was going to send this to you before he died, but he wasn't sure you'd read it. I read it. It was a resignation letter from the Dayton Tool and Die Company, dated 2 months before he left. There was a note scribbled at the bottom. Caught embezzling. They gave me a choice: resign or face charges. I took the easy way out. I ran. I felt sick. All these years I thought he just didn't want to be a father. But really, he was a coward who blew up his life and ran away from the fire without warning us. He could have told us. He could have said something. But he left us to deal with the aftermath while he disappeared into some other woman's house. And now here was Rachel. And maybe others. I thought you should know, she said softly. Not because it changes anything. Just because I'd want to know. I nodded. And that would have been the end of it, until 2 weeks later, I got another knock at my door. This time it was a man, late 20s, tall, dark hair, looked like he hadn't slept in days. He looked at me and said, "Are you Adam Miller?" I nodded. "I'm Ben. I think I'm your brother." Ben stood there on my porch, eyes red, fists stuffed into the pockets of a torn jacket. He looked like someone who'd been on the road for too long. "I just found out a few days ago," he said. "My mom passed last year. I found some letters she kept hidden. Ones he sent her back in 95, 96. They stopped suddenly. When I looked into it, I found Rachel. She told me about you." I didn't speak, just opened the door and let him in. We sat in silence for a bit before he asked the question I didn't want to answer. "Did he say anything before he died?" I shook my head. "Just left me a binder of hospital bills and a box of ashes." Ben stared at the floor. "Rachel came over the next day. I invited her and Ben to meet my mom. I figured she deserved to know. We met at a diner just outside Dayton. My mom didn't say much, just looked at them for a long time and then said, 'He really did leave a trail of wreckage, didn't he?' They both nodded. That night, I pulled the urn out from the back of the closet. I set it on the coffee table. Ben and Rachel came by. We sat in silence, staring at it like it was something haunted. Then Rachel said it. "Let's scatter him. Together. Somewhere no one will find him." Ben smirked. "You mean bury his ashes like he buried his messes?" We all looked at each other. No one laughed. I told them I had an idea. A week later, we drove back to Dayton. I parked a block away from the old tool and die shop. It was still there, though now half the windows were boarded up. "This is where it all started," I said. "This is where he blew up his life." We walked behind the building, where the weeds were overgrown and the gravel lot was crumbling. I took out the urn, unscrewed the lid, and poured his ashes into the dirt beside a rusted dumpster. Rachel stood there, arms crossed, face stone cold. Ben whispered, "Good riddance." I spit on the ground where I poured him. After that, we didn't talk for a while. We all went back to our own lives. But something shifted. I started getting calls from a collections agency. Apparently, Raymond's debt had been handed off and, because I was listed as next of kin and accepted delivery of his ashes, they thought they could come after me. I went to court. Took weeks. But I won. I proved I had nothing to do with his financial decisions. I left that courtroom feeling like I'd just finished cleaning up the last of a mess I didn't make. Then one day, Rachel called. "There's another one," she said. "What?" "Another half-sibling. A girl. She reached out to me." "How many are there?" I asked. She didn't answer. I realized then he never stopped running. Every new town, every new lie, he left behind a piece of himself. A trail of kids. Broken women. Empty promises. And here we were, cleaning it all up. I don't know if what I did was revenge or just self-preservation. But I do know this, the man who left me with nothing will never have a legacy. I made sure of it.